Told. This week we studied a portion of Reeh. Amongst the many mitzvahs that we read about in this week's portion is the mitzvah of Meiser, the tithe that we are required to give from our produce. The Torah tells us, Aser ta'aser kol tu'asarecha. We are to give 10% of all the produce. And the commentaries explain that this doesn't only apply to one's field, but this applies to any income that one has. One is to give 10% the tithe to tzedakah. And there was an interesting story that's told in the Medrash. There was this wealthy man that had a piece of property that every year would yield 1,000 measures of wheat. Before he passed away, he calls his son and he tells his son, listen, this piece of property yields 1,000 measures of wheat, and I give 100 measures for the tithe to the coin. You should see to it that you should continue to do that, and God will bestow upon you His blessings. The first year after the father passed away, the son listened to what his father said, and he gave the meiser, he did the mitzvah the proper way. The following year, the son thinks to himself, 100 measures of wheat, that's a big amount. I can cut down. And instead of giving the 100, he only gave 10 measures of wheat. The following year, instead of the field yielding 1,000 measures of wheat, it measured only 100. And his relatives told him, when you fulfill the mitzvah of Meiser and you give your tithe, so then you are the owner and God was the coin. Now that you don't listen to the mitzvah of Meiser properly, what happened was God became the owner of the land, and you received what the priest would normally receive, the 10%. This story reminds us and encourages us to see to it that we fulfill the mitzvah of Meiser, to fulfill the mitzvah of giving charity the proper way. And every single one of us should look at ourselves and ask ourselves, are we doing the mitzvah the proper way? Are we giving enough tzedakah? That's what God wants of us to give. And at the same time, we turn to the Almighty as we prepare ourselves for the coming new year. And we ask of God, even though perhaps we may not deserve everything we ask of you, but just like we have the mitzvah of tzedakah to give charity to the poor, you have the mitzvah to give charity to the poor. And in this situation, you're the rich man, and we are the poor man. So we ask of you, please to give us everything we need in the coming year. May we all be blessed with a Shana Tova Masukah, a good, happy, sweet New Year, and a blessed Shabbos, a blessed Chodesh, and may the preparations for the New Year be full of energy, happiness, and joy. Shabbat Shalom.